Now, just a couple of things to note about the report itself. Today, we'll talk through some specific ideas about how to process your data, but it's good probably first just to highlight a few things about the PAYS report in general. As I already mentioned, in Section 1, there is a summary of results that provides a brief overview of two things: the alcohol, tobacco, and other drug use in your community or school, and the risk and protective factor profiles for your community or school. So it's a really good place to start to get a good sense for your PAYS report. Another thing to note is that most of the tables and graphs that are presented throughout the report are presented by grade level and for the overall community. So it's both broken down by individual grades as well as an overall average. Also, it's color-coded throughout so that the blue graphs and tables represent your local data, and the orange tables represent the Pennsylvania statewide sample data. For those of you who have been doing the PAYS, as I mentioned, for many years, you'll probably be interested in looking at if things have changed or stayed stable across the different years of the survey. And you'll find that information, like I mentioned, in Appendix A. It provides a series of tables that outlines the results by each year that the PAYS has been administered in your community. And finally, we also want to highlight a new feature of this year's report, as I already mentioned, the new school climate and safety section. And as we said before, in previous years, the responses to these items in this new section were dispersed throughout the report, but this year it was reorganized so that all school climate and safety related measures are presented together. So next I'm going to turn it over to Stephanie, where she's going to talk to you a little bit more about the different steps to thinking through your data.
Great. So thinking about your data, we're going to talk through 5 steps for thinking through your local PAYS report. The first one is something that Brittany's already covered, I think, fairly well, which is this results summary in Section 1. The next thing we'll talk about is discovering highs and lows in your data, looking at trends in your risk and protective factors. Next, we'll look at change over time. If you've participated in multiple years of the PAYS, this can be a particularly valuable exercise for you. We'll also talk about finding meaningful groups of information in your data, and we'll get further into each of these things. Oh, one more. We also have comparisons, so comparing your local data to national norms or to the Pennsylvania statewide data. So as Brittany already covered, Section 1 has a results summary in it, and so what we would like to encourage you to do is to start there. I believe this starts on page 2 in the Anytown report. It's a brief sort of snapshot, like Brittany said, both of the ATOD lifetime and 30-day behaviors. It also includes the risk and protective factors and how they compare to norms. And so we'd just like to recommend that you follow up in corresponding sections.